Tales from the crypts of history are full of folks with more guts and grits than a boot camp drill sergeant. And at the very top of that list, standing on her high heel boots of bravery, is our main gal, Joan of Arc. She's like a lighthouse of never-give-up-ness, piercing through a dark storm of tough times. Ready to dig into Joan's feisty journey and see if it's still ringing loud through the years? Buckle up, cause you're about to get schooled in French Rebellion 101. Joan was like an energy drink of determination, sizzling with the desire to show England they weren't the only tough ones around. She had her personal alarm bell of unfairness ringing, mixed with some mind-boggling visions of a heroic future. Her daily gear, a charisma so contagious it could rouse a sleeping army, and a fearless heart that laughed in the face of her young years. And if any stuffy old military chiefs doubted her skills, well, Joan knew how to pitch her angel-approved dreams. But let's not kid ourselves, it was no frolic in a French meadow. Here's where Joan pops onto the scene. Domremy, France, 1412. A village as ordinary as your average suburban neighborhood. Joan's upbringing was more farm work and family love than luxury and lattes. The daughter of a humble farmer, Joan was meant to be more at home with cows than with combat, but fate had other ideas. As Joan was growing up, the 100 Years' War was making the French-English feud messier than a food fight. The fallout? Joan's hometown got sucker-punched by a harsh attack in 1425. The village was chaos central, with cows MIA and villagers yearning for a quiet, English-free life, nursing their wounds and their pride. This is where the story gets juicy. After this smackdown, Joan's first divine vision flickered on like a divine GPS, pointing her towards her mission, booting out the English and restoring France's peace and quiet. Imagine being just a teenager and suddenly getting calls from your guardian angels with war strategies. These heavenly whispers inspired Joan to back Team Charles VII against Team Burgundy, England's buddies, and take back France for the French. Even with her family saying, maybe not, Joan was fully committed to this holy crusade against the English nasties. Now, don't get it wrong. Joan didn't just strut into the war like she owned the place. As a young girl with no battle training, Joan had a pretty steep hill to climb, but climb she did. At 17, she confidently presented herself to French commander Baudricourt, only to be met with disbelief and trickery. But Joan was no quitter. Meanwhile, the war was turning France into a real-life horror movie, and Joan's visions were getting more intense. Try again, right? Joan approached Commander Baudricourt again, and this time, with a sliver of doubt, he agreed to introduce her to the king. The king, trying to test if Joan's the real deal, ended up with egg on his face when Joan saw through his disguise. Still, he wanted more proof and sent Joan to a bishop, expecting some sort of divine thumbs up. Wowed by Joan's fearless passion and honesty, the bishop gave Joan's visions his holy seal of approval. The message was loud and clear. This farm girl was packing some serious celestial power. With the bishop's approval, Joan finally traded in her farming tools for soldier's gear. Leading a small army under her Jesus Maria banner, Joan showed off her strategic smarts and brave leadership, scoring a point for the French at the Siege of Orleans and bagging the title of Maid of Orleans. Just when you thought Joan couldn't crank it up any higher, she led the French forces to even more victories, even while being side-eyed by skeptics and getting blocked like a missed goal during the attempted capture of Paris. But fasten your seatbelts, folks, because Joan's ride was about to go off-road. In 1430, Joan's luck pulled a Houdini and disappeared. After getting nicked in battle, Joan was ditched by a local who suspiciously yanked up a drawbridge, leaving her to be snagged by the Burgundians, who later pawned her off to the English forces. Talk about a double cross. Deserted by King Charles, she was put on trial for heresy and witchcraft in a court more rigged than a carnival game. But Joan, true to form, wasn't about to back down. She tackled every twisted question and baseless accusation with the steadfastness of a mountain, keeping her faith and her heavenly mission at the forefront. It was like a verbal ping-pong match, with Joan's responses getting spun and flipped by her captors. In 1431, despite her rock-solid defense, Joan was sentenced to the fiery fate of death at the stake. The verdict? Guilty of heresy and dressing like a dude, with the trial masterminded by English-backed church bigwigs. Her death stirred up a whirlwind of emotions, from celebration by her enemies to heartbreak by her followers. But the Joan of Arc saga didn't end with her death. The Catholic Church acknowledged the trial's screw-ups and cleared her name in 1456. Over time, Joan became a symbol of resilience, a national superhero in France. Today, she's celebrated for her bravery and unyielding love for her country. Her physical presence may be gone, but her legacy kept reverberating through history, showing us that even the most ordinary of folks can rock the world. Subscribe for more from Factory.